Morning viewers, welcome to MouShauk. Today I'll be discussing the part three of digestive system question answer discussions. Okay. So before I start, I will request you to subscribe my channel if you have not subscribed yet, and if you are a new viewer to my channel. And if you are liking the video, press the like button, share with your friends so that they can also be benefited from these videos. And do meditate before you start your day. And so before starting, we will also start with a short meditation. And for that, let us concentrate on the point of light. Think that light is pouring into you. And your whole body is enlightened. You're feeling very light, no heaviness, no pressure, no tension, really relaxed, and a happy, relaxed mind. You can gain more knowledge from your books and from wherever you are studying. You can store them more and recollect them as well. Very relaxed, no tension. You are achieving what you want to get, and the going to play your performance is perfect. You can thank God for being with you this whole day and helping you. Thank you so much for joining. We will start with the discussion. So in the last video, we have discussed the digestive juices with the duodenum and its walls decrease, the bile and the pancreatic juice, which are into the duodenum, in the duodenum, and also its own walls, the intestinal own walls secrete the intestinal juice, which is in the ileum. Okay. So bile and pancreatic juice in the duodenum and intestinal juice in the ileum. Now, what are the adaptations of the ileum for absorption of the digested food? So ileum, one is first is its length, so which provides more surface area for absorption. Then the villi, which are present in the ileum, that also helps increase the surface area, helps to increase the surface area for absorbing further. And also the single-celled epithelium, which is present on the villi, okay, which helps to absorb the food easily. And ileum is a very narrow tube, so food stays there longer, for longer time, and the movement is slow. So that helps in absorption also. Now, next question is, what is bile and what does it contain? What is the reason of the color of the bile? So bile is yellowish green and watery fluid that is produced in the liver and transported through the hepatic duct. So it is a yellowish green fluid which is produced in the liver and it is transported through the hepatic duct to join with the cystic duct from the gallbladder and open into as a common bile duct, okay, and pour into the duodenum, okay, or directly it can pour into the duodenum, or it can be stored in the gallbladder temporarily, and when it is required, it pours into the duodenum, okay. Now, bile contains some salts. One of them is sodium bicarbonate, okay, which neutralizes the acid. Sodium bicarbonate neutralizes the acid, and it's an alkali. It will neutralize the acid. So we know that the food which is present in the stomach or which is coming out from the stomach into the intestine is having acid. Okay, is mixed with acid. It is acidic in nature because it is mixed with HCl acid. Okay, the kind that is acidic in nature, on that the intestinal enzymes and the pancreatic enzymes, they cannot act. So that has to be changed into alkaline form. It has to be neutralized. So sodium bicarbonate does that job. Okay. So it makes the food alkaline, it makes the kind alkaline, and so that the pancreatic and intestinal enzymes act on it. Okay. The color of the bile is due to the two pigments. One is bilirubin and another is biliverdin. Okay. And where are they produced? They are produced in the liver. Okay. And it is formed due to the dead and the worn out RBC, which breaks down. Okay, it is formed by the breaking down of the dead and the worn out RBCs, which produces this two pigments. After breaking down of the RBC, this bilirubin and biliverdin pigments are produced, which provides the yellowish green color of the bile. Then what are the functions of the bile salts? The bile salts, they reduce the surface tension of the fats. Okay, the bile salts mainly act on fats. Okay, they emulsifies the fat, they reduce the surface tension of the fat, emulsifies the fat, and even provides greater surface area for the action of the enzymes. Okay, that means they will reduce the surface tension of the bile. They will break the fine fat molecules into smaller molecules so that with lots of molecules are there and enzymes can get more surface area of the fats to act on. Okay. Which gland produces pancreatic juice? Where does it pour into and how? What does it contain? Pancreatic juice is provided by pancreas gland. Okay, it is whitish gland. It's the whitish gland. Okay, it's the leaf-like gland you can see in the picture. Okay, so this gland is located behind the stomach. Behind the stomach, in the first picture of the, yes, in the first picture of the text video, you can find that pancreatic gland is there. It is leaf-like structure behind the stomach. Okay, that is the pancreatic gland. It's a whitish gland. Okay. Then it contains three kinds of enzymes. One is amylopsin, trypsin, and stepsin. Okay. Amylopsin is also called pancreatic amylase. Okay. It digests what? It digests the leftover starch into molecules. We know that starch digestion starts from the mouth. Okay, where there we have lots of starch taurine we have. Okay, that helps in digestion of the starch. Okay, now the leftover starch which is carried by the food along with the food, it is carried and it comes to the intestine where this pancreatic juice acts on it, where the amylopsin acts on it, which is present in the pancreatic juice, acts on it and breaks them into molecules. Okay. Now, trypsin acts on the remaining proteins and polypeptides and converts proteins into smaller peptides and polypeptides into amino acids. Okay. Now, trypsin. Trypsin acts on emulsified fats. We know that fats are being emulsified where? In the by the action of the bile salts. Okay. Now, this emulsified fats, on this emulsified fats, trypsin acts and splits them into fatty acids and glycerol. Clear? Where does the pancreatic duct open into? The pancreatic duct opens into the duodenum by an aperture which is common to that of the bile duct. From that same aperture, the bile duct also enters. So, same aperture it uses. Okay? In what form trypsin is secreted and how is it activated? Now, trypsin is first secreted as trypsinogen. Okay? Now, trypsinogen is activated into trypsin by enterokinase enzyme, or you can say enteropeptidase. Same enzyme, another name for this enterokinase enzyme is enteropeptidase enzyme, which is secreted by the inner lining of the duodenum. Okay, the inner lining of the duodenum secretes this enterokinase enzyme, which acts on trypsinogen, inactive form trypsinogen, to make it active trypsin. Okay, which will act on peptides and yes, remaining peptides. Okay, then what all enzymes are present in the intestine juice? Mention the function of it. Enzyme trypsin. Okay, trypsin acts on for peptides, polypeptides, and proteins, leftover proteins. Okay. Now, intestinal juice acts on. Intestinal juice has 5 types of enzymes. One is erepsin, which is a mixture of polypeptide. Mixture of peptides, peptidase. Okay, it's a mixture of peptidase. Okay, Erepsin is a mixture of peptidase, which will convert peptides into amino acids. We know that trypsin converted proteins into amino acids and polypeptides into smaller polypeptides. Now, these smaller polypeptides are converted into amino acids by erepsin, or it's a mixture of peptides. Okay. Now, maltose. Maltase is another enzyme which is present in the intestinal juice that will convert maltose into glucose. We know in the duodenum, this this pancreatic juice that contain amylase. Yes, amylase. Amylopsin. Amylopsin. Amylopsin converted starch into maltose. Here, maltase converts maltose into glucose. Okay. Then lactose is being converted. Lactase converts lactose into glucose and galactose. Okay. Then sucrase, another name for sucrase is invertase. That will split sucrose into glucose and fructose. Then some traces of lipase, which splits emulsified fats into fatty acids and lipids. Okay. Some traces of lipase are also present. That will convert emulsified fats into fatty acids and lipids. Where are the final products of the food mainly absorbed in the small intestine itself? Okay, mainly the small intestine absorbs all the food and very little of undigested food, and mainly water is absorbed in the last. Now, how are the amino acids and simple sugars absorbed in the body? The amino acids and the simple sugars have relatively small sized molecules, which are absorbed to the thin epithelium of the villi. We know the villi has a very thin lining of the epithelial layer. Okay? That helps in the absorption of the small sized molecules of the amino acids and the simple sugars. Okay. Now, after being absorbed by the thin epithelial layer of the villi, they reach the blood capillaries, which are present in the villi. Okay. From there, they enter finally into the blood circulation. So after reaching the blood circulation, they first yes, after reaching the blood circulation, they will first reach the liver through the hepatic portal vein. From there, they will spread throughout the body. Okay. Now, how are fatty acids and glycerol absorbed in the body? The fatty acids and glycerol are first absorbed into the lymph vessels or lacteal, which are present in the villi. From there, they enter into the lymphatic system of the body. And after that, finally, they will enter the blood. Okay. How long does the food take to pass the small intestine and reach the large intestine? About 4 hours. How long is the large intestine? That is, what is the length of the large intestine? It is about 1.5 meters long. What are its parts? Its parts are cecum, colon, and rectum. Now, what is cecum? Where is it located? Cecum is a small blind pouch, which is the first part of the large intestine. Okay, and where is it located? At the junction of the small and the large. Now, name of vestigial organ which is attached to the blind end. Okay, blind end of the cecum. And what happens when it is inflamed? The vestigial organ means which is functionless. Okay, that functionless organ for the human body, which is attached to the blind end of the cecum, that is a worm-like tube which is projected, that is known as vermiform appendix. Okay, and when it is inflamed, it causes a severe pain, and the term which is used for that inflammation is appendicitis. Okay. Now, what is the middle part of the large intestine called, and what is the length and the breadth? What is its length and breadth? And name its divisions. The middle part is called the colon. Okay. And this is much broader than the ileum and a little more than a meter long. Okay. So 3 parts, 3 divisions are there. One is ascending colon, transverse colon, and descending colon. So ascending colon because it passes up the abdomen on the right hand side. Okay. Then transverse colon because it crosses from left to right. Sorry, it crosses from right to left, just below the stomach. That's a transverse colon. And descending is descending on the left hand side, coming down on the left hand side. That's why it's descending. Okay. Now, which is the last part of the large intestine and how much is its length? Where does it open? The last part of the large intestine is called the rectum. It is about 15 centimeters long, such small it is, okay? And it opens at the anus, to the outside. Now, what does the anus have and why? It has circular muscles in its mouth, okay? And it is known as, those circular muscles are known as sphincters, which keep it closed, except it opens only during passing bowels. When we are passing bowels, that time only that sphincters open. Otherwise, the circular muscles, the sphincters, they remain, keep the anus closed. Okay. What are the functions of the large intestine? The main function of the large intestine is absorption of water and very little of digested food, undigested food. Sorry, this will be undigested food. Okay. I'm sorry, it will be digested food only, not undigested food. Very little of digested food, which are passing down, that can be absorbed here. But mainly that comes out is undigested food. Okay. Now, what remains in the rectum after maximum water absorption? The contents of the undigested food become semi-solid feces. Okay. So, mainly water is absorbed in the large intestine, I told you. So, the content which remains after the absorption of water is undigested food material. Okay. And that becomes, after absorption of water, it becomes semi-solid feces. Okay. These remain in the rectum and at regular intervals, they are expelled out of the body. Now, this expulsion of this undigested remains of the food from the alimentary canal at regular intervals is known as defecation. Okay. So what is defecation? This is defecation. This is the definition of the defecation. That is the expulsion of undigested remains of the food from the alimentary canal. Okay. So this much for today. And a little bit is left. In my next video, I will discuss them. So till then, please go through this and go through the text videos. You will understand better. Okay. And if you are still having some problems, you can write in the comment box. You can also write at my email ID, that is kasturi74@gmail.com. And do meditate before you start your day, okay? Especially before you start your studies. Okay. So thank you for joining and have a good day. And also you will get the all the details of this chapter, all the links of the videos in the description box. Okay. So please refer to them. Thank you.